Today on Beardo and Weirdo, we have Whitfield Crane, the singer of Ugly Kid Joe, telling us about what it's like living around the world with a backpack and how he got Lemmy and Ozzy to be his two dads. It's amazing. Enjoy.
Cincinnati, Ohio. It is I, Chris Cale from the rock and roll band Five Finger Death Punch, with my co-host of Beardo and Weirdo, Mr. Craig Gass.
Comedian from Howard Stern, King of Queens, Family Guy, etc., etc., etc.
Seahawks fan, too.
Oh, why you got to do that to me?
Because I'm a Cincinnati fan. I want louder cheers for me because I am the real deal.
We're coming to Cincinnati is what's important. We're going to be at the Madison Theater on Friday, October 17th, doing stand-up comedy and recording a live episode of Beardo and Weirdo. MadisonTheater.com. Also, get your tickets at getgas.com. Getgas with two S's.com.
And I promise you one thing. Andy Dalton will not be in the building if I have anything to do with it.
Wow, that is a strong statement.
Woo!
Whitfield is one of the reasons I want to do a show like this, because I've met some stellar human beings in my travels around the world. And Whit is right up at the top of the list. I introduced him to my girlfriend a couple years ago, and at the end of our hang, he goes, "Hey man, just wanted to send you this." Got random pictures of us walking in front of him holding hands.
Oh.
And I was like, and they were amazing pictures. Like he was like, wow.
Like if Annie Leibovitz did it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like I was just like,
multi-talented.
yeah. So which of course, Darcy was like, I love that. I mean, she already loved him to begin with because, dude, you are the most intensely positive guy I've ever met. I've never.
And that's sitting across from me.
Yeah. I've never felt such intense energy. And whatever the social situation is, I've been in situations where it's a group of people and one of the people in that group is an elderly person. And I'll go, hey, this is Whit, this is blah, 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 blah. He'll go right up to the elderly person. How are you?
Yeah.
What's your name? Where are you from? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that place. Yeah. And he's a true nomad. He doesn't play by
Nomad for sure.
I mean, the guy is just always in a different part of the world. So,
and like on a note from me, I had heard so many good things about Whitfield through Sonny Mayo, a mutual friend of ours. He's like, dude, you got to meet Whitfield. You guys will get along so well. We were playing in Budapest and had a day off one day, and I went to go see the Scorpions play at this arena. And I'm sitting there like on the floor, kind of watching, and I look over to the side, and I'm like, I think that's Whitfield Crane. What is he doing way over here? That dude has got to be Whitfield Crane. I walk up, hey man, are you Whitfield? He's like, yeah. I go, Sonny Mayo's been telling me all about you. I'm Chris. And then he was over in Budapest, Hungary, watching the Scorpions. Were you opening for those guys at that show?
We played a one-off, and as I do, I don't know how close this thing is to be. I stay in places. So I was just in Budapest. I was like, I'm going to stay here. And so, Budapest has giant pints and ashtrays, which, if you're looking for something that's groovy, those are two variables that will help you on a quest. And it also had Wimbledon tennis at the time.
Oh,
and you're a huge tennis fan.
Yeah. It's right now. It's game 3. Townsend's on right now.
In Queens right now?
Yeah.
At the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. It's right now.
Nice.
I just watched, which is cool because I'm very phobic I don't mean to be, phobic of driving in cars and freeways. I get scared.
Really?
So, and I go like this. I'm like, the one that, depending on who's driving, the tailgating freaks me out. But anyway, back to tennis being helpful. Because I have my app, it doesn't really show the game, but it shows what's going on in a tie break. I wasn't looking at the freeway on the way here. So tennis
is the distraction.
That's right.
So I've always had this intensity, and I'm trying to go through my memory of stories that you've told me.
Right.
I seem to remember you telling me being in your room with your posters, like all of us grew up with, and manifesting this thing as a kid in your room.
What define manifesting?
Like you realized in your room. Remember you telling me some kind of story about being in your room and realizing this is what I want to do. This is listening to music and being like, this is
well, like any other kid with a bong and a Judas Priest poster. Right. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we were possessed by it. I mean, music touched. I mean, we're all pretty into it.
Absolutely.
And we were called in some format. What does Jesus Christ say? Many are called, few are chosen. So we're all kind of called into whatever form it shows up. And it's, in my opinion, like water's going to find its level.
Yeah.
So this is why we're all in this room.
Yeah.
And we're all still pleasantly alive.
Yeah.
And we're all still into it. And we've worn a bunch of different hats.
Yeah.
and I've worn some hats. But it's important to wear hats.
Yeah.
And then if you make it to these chairs and you still have something to contribute, that's a different storyline. But as far as like, I don't know, heavy music, heavy metal type music. The second I heard Sabbath, I was like, wow, there's a dude. Do you know what a latchkey kid is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
So I think if you were a latchkey kid, I don't know this is all projection, but I bet I'm dead on. I think if you were a latchkey kid right now, your parents would be arrested. I don't think you can leave a kid home alone anymore.
In today's world, yeah.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
just can't imagine it. But in the 70s when we were kids, single moms, and it was just state of the art. Like our whole street, funny enough, my street I grew up on, it was called, and it's still called Lois Lane, which of course
Really?
is Superman's girlfriend.
Absolutely.
My mom still lives in her little yellow house. It's pretty cute.
Really?
But anyway, so all the moms, for whatever reason, perhaps it's a, symptomatic of our United States. I don't know, but like all single moms.
Yeah.
So that said, as you'd go to school, you walk to school. I walked to kindergarten alone. Like, like we were all like, there's an innate independence and there was less fear. I don't really know how to even categorize it. But anyway, we would come home and there would be the house. And if you knew how to make macaroni and cheese, you were stoked.
Right.
Stovetop.
But like, that was it. But you had to figure it out. And that,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, there was, my sister was 4 years my senior and is 4 years my senior. And she had, AC/DC, she had Leonard Skinner. And I was like, that
was the source.
Not yet.
Okay.
I was more just, she's 4 years older than me.
Okay.
We didn't have a peer group. I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I was just like fascinated with all the things she was doing with the big kids, the older kids.
Yeah.
But there's a dude next door to me, to my mother's home. And his name is, I would imagine, and was Mark Jensen. And he's of Dutch descent.
Okay.
And one day in my latchkey kid ether, I heard across the wood fence in suburbia, Palo Alto, California, I heard Hand of Doom, Black Sabbath.
Nice.
Not knowing what Hand of Doom, Black Sabbath was.
Yeah.
But it was like, you're just a little kid. You're playing maybe sports.
How old were you at this point?
I don't know, little guy.
Okay.
Probably pre-puberty.
Okay.
And I heard it and I was all, and I was like, wow, and there's nobody to ask about it because there's no adult. It's
Can't get on Google.
Yeah,
Hey,
no, but
what
which
is
is
this?
good. So then, but it really is just a frequency that we all. I really
Tapped into.
love. Well, it's waiting for us.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah.
So I went to the wood fence, and I leaned in. It was, he had his windows open. His mom was gone too. He's cranking it. He had a killer stereo system, which my mom did not have. And so I listened to it up on the fence, and I was all, whoa. That's a trip. And so I immediately stomped over to his front door and went knock, knock, knock. And he opened his, he's a big, tall kid. He's a Dutch kid and Dutch descent. And I said, what is that? And he just nodded and took me. He didn't even say anything. We went like this. He goes, I'd been in his house before.
Yeah.
But there's no parents. There's nobody except us and the echoing magic of Hand of Doom. And we cruised and I just sat next to the speakers and it was unsaid. He looked at me like this, like, yep, now you know. I was like, wow.
Did you study the album while you were listening?
Yeah, I kind of looked at it, but I was more puzzled with Ozzy Osbourne singing like,
Wow.
and then we listened to the whole album, and then of course I looked at it, and I was like, what else do you have? And he had so much rock. He had Scorpions, he had UFO, he had Rush, he had and you need a bro, you need an extra bro.
You had your own little Lars.
Yeah,
right there.
Little helpful.
Lars had like this album collection and just sharing with everybody all the time. So another Dutchman turned other people on to heavy metal back then. Yeah.
Which, by the way, is the guy who I met Whitfield through. I met Whit through Lars and his assistant at the time, Steve. And
here in Vegas.
In San Francisco.
Okay.
Metallica, it was a short period of time after I had opened for Metallica at that show at the Bowery Ballroom. And I was like, wow, I know these guys. I can actually go to a show now if I want to.
Yeah.
And so I went to the show in San Francisco at Candlestick. And that's where I met Whit. Whit did, that night, he did the most amazing Ozzy impression. Not just singing, not just but the physicality of the leaping up. And I was like,
oh, nice.
And as a guy who genuinely admires that skill set of being able to do impressions. I was
You've made a career out of it.
Yeah, and I go, wow, this guy. It's like, man, what a cool guy. And then over the course of the next couple of years, it'd be like occasions where I would hang out with Steve and Whit, and Whit, we would just kind of like just run into each other at different spots. And the more I learned about him, the more I was just like, wow, man, there's things that I have in common with him. One was, you told me once, I don't know why, I remember conversations with people. I have forgotten entire relationships I was in. But I remember important conversations that resonate with me. Whit said to me once, he said, when I first started in the business, and I so was the same way, he goes, I thought my agents and my managers, you already know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
He goes, I thought these guys were like my bros.
I still pretend this is true.
Yeah, these are my bros,
you
man.
learn the business.
Dude, you want to be my agent? Dude, you can be my agent, man. I'm going to be your guy. You're my agent. You're my guy. You're going to be my manager. Oh, man, I'm going to be your guy. And like, we're going to be friends. And like, I thought the same thing. I thought like, hey, man, we're all bros. We're all hanging out. I had heard another comedian, Pablo Francisco, telling me once that he goes out to dinner once a week with all of his team. And I thought, oh, what a cool thing. I want my team. Like, hey, now I got a team. Whit and Chris are my team. But
who's paying for it?
Oh, dude, you don't realize that it is. Yeah, exactly. You don't realize that it doesn't work that way.
Right.
And the way you learn sometimes can be very painful
and important.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Do you have an example of that when you learned?
What's that?
Do you have an example of that when you learned that that was not the case?
Well, yeah, in concert or sibling to that statement you just made, part of the thing I was sharing with you is I also thought that anybody who got a record deal and anybody who got to go on tour, that we're all part of this magic fraternity and we're all bros.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah.
As it should be.
It's so fucking on, dude. Yeah. And it was, so that was the I was like, oh, whoa. Okay, it's not like that. And so those are kind of some of the rude awakenings. And, we all have our egos in the sense of, I'm an idealistic dude. And I want everything to be rad. And I still fight for it. I still will. The percentage wise, I lose, but then again, I do get a small percentage. If for instance, my booking agent in Europe, Ed Sellers, great guy, and he worked with. And I sat with Ed, let's say 4 years ago, and I'm gonna tell you how it is. And he goes, well, what do you got? He's a fucking booking agent, and he's a great guy, great family, la. And I go, dude, make it so the tours end somewhere killer, and I go like this, like Portugal or somewhere fun. Let's get Greece. Never played Greece, but let's go to Greece and end up in Greece, and then bring your family and let's drink pints.
Wow!
And he goes like this, and he goes, "Are you serious?" with the English accent, Yeah. And I go, "Well, yeah, I am." And let's make money. Let's go kick ass and make money. Let's sell shirts, whatever it all is. Let's do great business, but let's use this tool of music and commerce and all the weird things that it used to be uncomfortable, but now I would just want to kind of nudge the equation to fun.
Yeah.
And make money. I'll pay me. Let's go. And he was like, are you serious? And I go, yeah. So a couple times we've rigged it up so that the last show ends up in Portugal. He brings his family. It's no more, and then you're in Portugal. And you can kind of like in Europe, as you well know, you can kind of nudge festivals and stuff like that. You can go like this and be all, we need 9 rooms for 3 days. And they're like, okay. The United States, no one's giving you anything.
Right.
No chance. But so there you go. So all of a sudden, and then not just the business prowess, but just I like this dude and I like people in general. So if you can get people to show up, any people, your people, whoever your people are, if you can get them to show up on the last gig and hang out, you're in life. And I still try to sell that to various band members, and they don't, it's their lives. I'm not right, nor am I wrong. But in my mind, people to go to, let's say, Portugal, or Lisbon, Portugal, or wherever, some neat places we can go through music. People save up all their money and they get time off, and it's the vacation of their lives. And a lot of times, most of the time, and I'm sure you see this with your guys, or maybe you see it with your comedic buddy, you end up somewhere dope, right?
Yeah.
And then, but the gig's done and you go back to whatever your life is, which isn't wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a house, maybe you have a mortgage, maybe you have kids. This is all, okay, go do that. But maybe you could stay a couple extra days and go see what's what.
Yep.
Because music, in my mind, when you're in the early 20s and you do all the things that you should do in the early 20s, maybe towards 30, go do that. And then hopefully it's a hat that was well fit upon your head, right? And then, you know, as you kind of go through, if you're able to even have a gig, which I right now have gigs, I can't believe it. I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
But you can then, it's if you just kind of cruise with your backpack and you end up wherever, you're a tourist, and I'll fight for it because no one will go with me anyway. So I'll make friends, whatever. But so I'll fight for it either way. I'll crack codes. I will do that. But if you happen to be part of a musical machine in whatever face it has, you know, Five Finger Despots, Ugly Kid Joe, whatever it is, whatever the moniker is, you can get pretty much whatever you want out of it. You could get You could get the early 20s journeys, which are cool, but they kind of played out after a while.
Hedonistic,
but which is cool. Go wear the hat.
Right.
Hope it's snug.
Right.
Not too snug though. Hope you can get it off when time comes. You know.
But you know.
Absolutely.
Or you could like say you meet. You know, this is what I've been doing for years. Is you meet just one person that's kind of your ether, not right or wrong, but whatever you're into. You know, like if you're into finding the sick restaurant wherever it is, they'll be all, I know where it is, and that used to be, do you know where the is, right? And that's okay. Peace to all that. Yay. Yeah. But then, you know, you can really, you can not only do what you should do professionally as, you know, as a singer or an artist, or whatever the words are, but you can experience life through music. And that's what I fight for.
But you bring up something about loving people, which is one thing about you that is so, it stands out about you, is that you have this personality that draws everybody in. And all of us have this love of music. We fall in love with music. And then for me, and I notice this with guitar techs and band managers, sometimes photographers, they love music, but they can't figure out how to get in it. So if they can get close to it, they're happy. So as a comedian, I've managed to get close to music and my favorite musicians. But you have this personality that has managed to pull this rabbit out of a hat of getting your heroes to not only gravitate towards you, but adopt you as their son. And there's so many musicians out there who were also influenced by Ozzy and Lemmy. And I mean, we all know people who went backpacking through Europe. This fucking guy goes backpacking through Europe on Motorhead's tour bus. He literally will show up at one date, backpack in hand. Hey man, Lemmy goes, yeah. And then hangs out, and then we'll pop up on stage for like a song or two here and there. Yeah. And that, like, I mean, I think your relationship with Ozzy starts when you toured with Ozzy. Is that when you first started that relationship?
Well, when Ugly Kid Joe started happening, and that was when MTV played videos, music television.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, who knew that it was a sweet spot? Because you don't know anything. I don't even know anything right now. But like, but that said, you know, we played a bunch of video. Our video, we didn't even know. All of a sudden, your videos getting played. Like heavy rotation or whatever. All of a sudden, I mean, you could sell 1 million albums or CDs or tapes or whatever it was. And anyway, so Klaus and I, my childhood friend, who I'll see a little later
tonight, performing in Fremont.
They were real people would interview us, which we thought was comical because, you know, really, you know, we don't even know. We were young and obnoxious and out of our minds, really. Good cheetah. We had good energy. Yeah. And we write Ozzy in our knuckles. And we're like 23, right? And like real publications would talk to us. Yeah. Real things, real interviews about our art form. Right. And we were like, you know, this is when you're doing the 20s things. Yeah. Where I was like, this is hilarious. You know, loose.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And we did it over and over and over and over. And they would, whatever the publication or video shoot, whatever it was, whatever the interview, this shit. They would say, so
back when he was being interviewed by real publications instead of Beardo.
But you know what I mean? Like whatever it all is, it's all over and over.
Oh yeah.
And we would get questions, real questions that we probably should have answered. And we would just say Ozzy rules. And they'd be all, you know, you guys have got a record deal and this must be exciting for you. You're on the Billboard, whatever. They'd show us Billboard. We didn't know what Billboard was.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd go to the camera, Ozzy rules. And we just sit there like this. And it didn't turn those people on. Like it started us on a different journey, which is kind of a Motorhead journey.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, we'll kill your lawn. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I imagine, and plus we were, whatever success is, like we're selling a shit ton of,
units,
whatever all this.
Yeah.
And then mixed with the fact that that's all we would talk about is Ozzy's the raddest. And then all of a sudden, you know, we had a motorhome, which I think is important to be on a motorhome. Motorhomes, you know, there's a sweet spot because you're together.
It's not a van. It's not a van. It's a motorhome. It's and you're all together.
Yeah, and it has all the but anyway, all of a sudden we got a invitation to play the Randy Rhoads tribute show. I think it was like sometime in the early, or I don't know, I think 1992 maybe. And it was initially supposed to be somewhere, but it ended up at Irvine Meadows, and I'd never played a big room before. I'd gone and seen all kinds of bands,
absolutely,
and been all, that'd be rad, you know. And
had you been to Irvine Meadows as a fan?
Yeah. But like and imagine, you know, it went fast. Everything went fast, but in a good way and a terrifying way, and all the ways, which is nothing original because you know, you got to jump in the fire, into the fire. And anyway, so we go to that show, and it's fucking ugly. It's Randy Rhoads tribute show. Oddly, we have a show. We play that show, and then we actually play Wiltern Theater after the show. Like Ugly Kid Joe for 1 second was super cool. It was all, you're cool. Fair enough. That's what you get. It's what you get.
You had the moment.
And just in a moment in time. But anyway, and there's a fucking photo of this somewhere. I don't know where to find it. It's so fucking rad because the bill was Ugly Kid Joe, never played a big room before, but I could not wait. And I looked just like the guy. I mean, I was the guy from Ugly Kid Joe Everything About You video with my Doc Martens and my little leather jacket. Like I was that dude for like 2 years. You know, I have the same outfits now, but just they've gotten bigger. But anyway, it was us, and then I walk, and there's fucking badass pirate virile Lemmy Kilmister, and it's Ugly Kid Joe, Motorhead, Randy Rhoads tribute thing, and I'm like all oddly for something like that, and even shit like this happen when stuff happens like this now, conceptually or theoretically to things, I could have a little trepidation or fear. Sure, but if it's a sweet thing I'm supposed to be doing, like I feel comfortable with you guys. But I've done interviews where I'm like, these people are kooks and I'm not going to survive it. So I'm like off, you know what I'm talking about? So you guys are rad. So when I got to the Irvine thing, I felt sweet. I felt like I have a storm, good vibes. And there was Lem, and Lem cruised right up with a cigarette and was all, what's up? And there's a photo of that somewhere where it's me, and I had it. Now I don't. And it was it's us behind the back line, and it's Irvine Meadows, and it's me meeting Lemmy, like really meeting him for the first, it exists. Wow. And so that happened. And then we got summoned by Sharon, and Ozzy came and said hello. And we were like, particularly me and Klaus, because Ozzy's our guy. Yeah. I mean, he's our dude. He's the dude. Klaus's sister, Karen, corrupted us with, it was Karen Eichstadt, Noni Hiller, Tracy Hobstetter, and Ashley Crescent. These were the beautiful, beautiful young gals in high school that were two years above us. We were freshmen, and they loved Priest and Ozzy and things that came with those bands. You know, they were like, you guys can be part of our thing, and they taught us. Nice. Wow. So
Camaros with T-tops.
The influential girls.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Everybody have full names too. I like that.
Yeah, they corrupted us, and we're, you know, to this day, you know, we're like, thank you when we see them. Well, thank you.
Hell yeah.
And they're like, you know, we did this. And we're like, well, of course you did. But nevertheless, so we got you know, summoned, and we met Oz and Sharon, and everything was cool, and we thought that was going to be it. But you know, for whatever reason, and I guess that reason was selling units, whatever. Is all of a sudden we got, you know, we were in a motorhome, still in that motorhome, cruising around, just everything was brand new. Everything was cool and groovy and all the things. And then all of a sudden we got, you know, this is like fax machines and landlines. So that, you know, like there's a lot of foreplay, and there's a lot of mystery, which I love. I don't use that word.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, I love mystery.
Just in your travels, even today, just kind of going around.
I usually walk outside without a phone.
Yeah.
But I had to find this place. Anyway, so then also we got we were offered that Ozzy tour, and it ended up with us, Motorhead, and Ozzy Osbourne. And then we went out, and it was fucking killer.
I didn't realize that was the lineup. It was Ozzy with Motorhead and Ugly Kid Joe. Oh my God. So the friendships start there. That's where, with Lemmy and with Ozzy is where it starts.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
And over the years, I mean, well, first of all, being that kid who discovers and then breaking through to these friendships, was it different? The relationship with Lemmy and the relationship with Ozzy, were they different dynamics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Lemmy was accessible 24/7, and Ozzy was not accessible. Ozzy, you know, it's Ozzy, you know.
Right.
So, but they're both the same. They both had that same thing. They both independently pulled me aside when I was like 25 or 26. Right in there, I was all except, I'm still hyper, but I was triple hyper back then.
I can't even imagine. I remember Whit telling me about his mom trying to control him when he was a kid, and I was like, oh man, the energy you have right now, I can't even imagine what you're like as a teenager, man.
I was the worst child. Yeah. Like the worst. I mean, I wasn't violent, but I was lippy.
Just a lot.
Well, what's a single mom going to do? I'm going to ground you. That was comical.
Yeah.
So
when are you home, Mom?
Yeah.
When are you home to enforce the rules? We're latchkey kids.
So
I'll see you at 6.
And you have like 9 of these kids, so you can always find a house.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
So you're 25 years old. Lemmy and Ozzy both pull you aside.
Independently. Amongst many other things they said, they looked at me, which oddly, maybe that's every generation. They both looked at me because I was so excited about everything. No, what else? Then what happens? And they both said, with oracle-like patience, they said, you just missed it. Meaning like the 70s and like back in the day.
Oh, that is so funny.
And which I would, my inference would be, though I didn't ask this, but I imagine they saw, themselves in me. And like, they're like, you're as weird as we are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean I missed it, man? Yeah. And they're like, well, it's okay. It's still right. You're here. And I was like, okay. But now when I think about my, musical travails, I'm like, well, compared to these kids, like the TikTok kids, with respect to TikTok and all the things that work, it's not my world.
Yeah.
But maybe I was a sweet spot too. You know? So, maybe it just goes on and on.
So do you,
I don't know anything.
Yeah. See, I thought you were going to say that Lemmy and Ozzy Osbourne were like, hey man, you need to slow down. We had that happen to us.
Right.
Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue sat down with Zoltan and was like, hey man, your boys are going kind of hard.
Right.
You all might want to slow down.
Right.
Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue.
Right.
Telling us that we're too crazy.
Right. Right. But
I thought that's where that was going. That was a surreal moment for me too.
Is there a time when you start to realize that Lemmy's health is starting to go back on the other side? His health is starting to deteriorate.
Is the other side deteriorating?
Is
he like sick?
When his health started deteriorating, did you try to make some in your travels and shows? Did you try to balance time with Lemmy as well during that time?
I would show up and just get in their face and say, "What's up, you're rad."
Yeah.
That's what I would do. But I mainly would call Todd Singerman all the time and say, "How's everybody doing? What can I do?"
Was Todd the manager?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he would, I would call off wherever I was. I would find a phone, or I maybe had a flip phone. I forget what I had. Whatever it was, whatever time. So I probably had like a Nokia flip phone. And so I'd always check in. And then if I could do something, I would do it. And if not, I would just make sure that I was throwing good vibes through the telephone.
Whit has told me some incredible stories about Lemmy, but do you have a favorite memory that stands out about
cool Lemmy story?
Yeah,
I do.
Favorite.
It's up there. There's a lot of tales. Okay. So so Ugly Kid Joe, we played our last show. Didn't know it was going to be the last show in somewhere in Austria, maybe Graz, Austria, somewhere weird.
Okay.
In 1996 of December, I had created these snowboard tours. I'm like, we should go snowboarding and get rad. Remember that? Right?
I love that.
And
so I should play bass with you guys.
The focus is always on having fun. I love that.
Let's make money. But then again, when we went through all the shit, and we're making people money and hooray. But where's like, I ride snow. When's that gonna happen? So we did that. And but you could also, grunge was coming, and you could feel that, sure, it's fun to go up.
Yeah.
Oh man. It's an important hat to wear. Like when you're going down, like what's your response to that? Because that's where you're going to evolve as a spirit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Anyway,
100%.
So that ends, and I'm with my friend 5000, my childhood friend, and we end up in Goa, India. We have Enfield motorcycles. I rent this Portuguese mansion out. We have these red maids, Kunda and Sunita, Deepak's looking over the thing, and we're fucking in it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And then we have no phones. And I mean, it's on fire. It's Mad Max.
Yeah.
And there's rice patties. And if you wanted to call someone, you'd have to get a grip of rupees, which is the currency.
Yeah.
And you'd go, and you park your Enfield motorcycle, you go to the phone, dude. I mean, like, it's India. And you give them a grip of things. You could call your mom or whoever you wanted to call. And so, I was calling people in the Ugly Kid Joe band. I'm like, you guys, let's go write an album here. It's super rad. This is the shit.
Yeah.
We have motorcycles. There's all kinds of pretty gals around. It's on. Let's get weird.
Yeah.
Let's go. And instead of that happening, my dear friend Klaus, guitar player and childhood friend, he goes, band's broken up. No.
That's how you found out.
And I'm all, really? It's a breakup. It's over. And he's like, yeah.
Over the phone too.
He's like, well, I was in India. I mean, you can't find it.
Yeah,
and it's totally fair. And
not reachable.
And it's a strange moment considering our whole journey.
Right.
You know, he's my best friend. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. And I go, well, okay, that sucks, but okay. Are you okay? He's like, yeah. You know, we've had a long talk. I go, okay, man. Okay.
And you asked him if he was okay.
Well, just is everybody okay? It's a weird thing. Breaking up with a girlfriend's weird.
Of course.
Or a wife or whatever it is. Like nothing ends well.
Yeah. Life changes right there.
It's coming. So like, but nevertheless, I was on a magic carpet ride. So I was like, whatever, I'll get rad. So
in India too.
But no, if I was like somewhere like Detroit, super high in a hotel room, and someone told me my band broke up, it would be a different,
of course,
vibe.
Right.
I was in.
Yeah.
So we go on all these journeys. We're doing all this crazy stuff, hanging out with these crazy people, doing crazy things. And anyway, I go, let's go to the Taj Mahal. To my friend 5000. He said, I'm with you, G. Let's go. So this dude named Deepak, Dolit. His name was Dolit, and he had this beat up car, and he drove us. I want to go see the Taj Mahal, and we ditched our fucking, Portuguese mansion, and we went off into India. Like India's a trip. You talk about fearful driving. This is the fucking top of the thing.
Yeah, like, Chris thinks my driving is
and
bad.
they all have like they all have Hindu deities on there because you got past lives coming. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like this. I'm a fucking A. But whatever. I'm going to see the Taj Mahal. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to find this fucking Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
It looks magical in the pictures.
Absolutely.
So we get there. We get to Agra, India, where the Taj Mahal is. We go there. I have a weird beard. We kind of look like these dudes have been traveling.
Yeah.
In fact, we were those dudes.
Yeah.
And we don't have any way to document it. And we made friends with this like a little family from Melbourne, Australia. We're all, hey, we weren't all strung out or druggy or anything, but we're like, hey, how are you guys doing? They're all, hello, mate. And we're all, can you take a picture of us with your camera? And if I gave you my mom's address, could you send
a picture to my mom?
Could you send it to a picture to my mom? And I don't want to bug you, but if you could do that, I would be so stoked because I'm never going to be here.
Yeah. Right.
And he's like, sure, man, I got your fucking back. Like me and my friend Five were all, woo, with the Taj Mahal. Never got the picture. But somebody has it, or they lost the camera. I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I'm all cool. So we see that it's, this is, we're in India. And so then we end up in Agra and we just wandered around and I just cruise. I don't study a lot of anything. I just end up somewhere rad, pretty much. Or I trust people. I'll outsource. Where should we go?
That's fascinating to me how you do that because to this day you do that. You bounce around the world, a true nomad. When people say to me, man, you really travel a lot, I always think of Whit and go, no, I know people who are way more hardcore.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just, before we get to what you're going to say next, have you ever, sometimes when I get into town and I get into town early and I want to do local radio, TV, promote my shows, I feel like a ghost sometimes when I'm into town. Like I'll go into the supermarket and I don't have any connection to anybody. And then as the days go on, I make friends as the days go on. Yeah. But there's a disconnect I feel sometimes when I arrive to a town. Do you ever feel that when you get to a town that you don't know anybody yet? Like, do you ever, or is it always you go somewhere where you know people?
All of it.
All of it happens. You feel all of it. Like
it usually starts off with the ghostly feeling, and then you because I'm a gregarious dude. Yeah, I'm gonna make friends. Yeah, and I like people. And I'm like, what would they know? Like, it's cool if you go with your girlfriend or your bro, but then you're just gonna go with your bro
and do the thing,
which is rad. Yeah, I love you. Let's go hang out. I'd go hang out. Let's go. Yeah, but if you are alone and you have any need might be too heavy a word, but any wanting of human interaction, I'm gonna crack codes. Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah, and plus, when I was a kid, I'll tell you this side note. When I was a kid in high school, they would have these. They being the school, Palo Alto High School, the Vikings. Yeah.
Vikings. As he points to Chris.
Full circle. I remember that school well.
They would have the school would have Swedish exchange students. And I was always, I'm not like a big jealous guy, but I was jealous. Mm-hmm. I wish I was interesting and rad. Look at these, like everyone's, oh my God, look at them. They're magic, dolphins, whatever they are. And I was like, and I'm like, holy shit. And I remember sitting there with my bros, and the girls are beautiful Swedish girls. That's an interesting thing in its own right. But just in general, they were this enigmatic, crazy outlier thing. And I was like, they're so fucking rad. I wish I was rad. Which you are if you go to Sweden and you're from California.
Yeah.
So what I found, and the musical currency we talked about before, plus if you're from California and you dare to even just talk, people will be stoked.
Of course. You are that person from out of town.
Anybody, anybody.
Absolutely.
And there's much to learn.
How far in advance do you hear about Back to the Beginning? Like how far in advance do you start getting calls like, we're going to do this, we want you to be a part of it?
I think it was like a couple years before. I think the idea of it was in there, and I had a little chat with Jack, and he was like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I think that's rad."
Wow.
And then this form of it, I got a text or a call from Jack that said, "Dad wants to know if you would do this thing." I'm like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Would you do it?" I'm like, "What is it again?" And he's like, "It's this rad thing where it's gonna be rad." And I'm like, "Oh," and I'm all, "That sounds killer. Hold on." And I got in contact with my humans and said, I got the dates where it would be blocked out. So if I happen to be on tour, which I was going to be, can I get out of that and can I go celebrate and fan the flames?
Absolutely.
Of the Sabbath thing. So I got a message from Jack, and did the due diligence and then said, "Fuck yeah."
And then when the date arrives, you get into Birmingham. We've been talking to so many people who were there, who were a part of it.
Yeah.
They said you could feel it in the city.
Yeah, that's right.
It was everywhere.
I've never seen or experienced, like if you had just closed your eyes and walked around it, you'd feel it. It was something very special. I mean, Birmingham is an industrial city with a gnarly history.
Yeah.
And so, and where some of those bands come from and why it's like that. So like they were so proud of Sabbath and so proud of Oz. And you could feel it. You could really feel it. And you had and it was done well. Conceptual art doesn't always land well. You go, I hope it's rad, and it's just not whatever it is. And it was rad. It was so great, and it had, you could all around the city. So like, yes, there was a celebration of, you could feel it. There's an Ozzy museum.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were posting that on social media. There was the Ozzy Museum was happening at that time, and I'm just remembering as I'm looking at Whit that one of the people we had on with us was Dave Ellefson, and Dave Ellefson told us something that Whit told him that I never knew. He said that I'm watching, and everyone describes that one moment. Even Mike Inez, who hasn't been on with us yet, but Mike Inez talked about the moment when they were playing Mom, I'm Coming Home, that Mike couldn't even look at anybody else, that he just looked away from Ozzy, looked away from Zach, and was playing the song. And Dave Ellefson says, Whitfield comes up to me and goes, "You know what this song's about? It's about England." And I was like, "It is? I didn't know that." And Ellefson goes, "Man," and then all of a sudden it hits me like, the lyrics, "You could have been a better friend to me." It's like, oh, that makes more sense. And I was like, I had no idea. Lemmy wrote the song, right?
That's right.
And I didn't know that was...
That's the folklore that I have.
Oh, okay.
I would stand behind it. But we don't have...
Lemmy and...
We don't to tell
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, but as you do your commitment to the show, and then you get to be in the building, you get to be there to watch it.
Yeah.
And, are you going to soak it all in? Do you watch the entire thing from out in the crowd on stage?
I walked a lot,
Yeah.
and just spaced out and looked at everything. Because you could go until like Sabbath got up there or Oz got up there. You get up on stage with your wristband.
Okay.
My wristband said Supergroup 1.
Oh, that's right. It was part of the supergroup.
Yeah.
And so, it was really interesting and humbling and beautiful and loving. A lot of good words to describe the whole thing. What it had that was really attractive to me was it was a 5-day thing. And when I say 5 days, it's because to get the infrastructural part of that, so it even worked, everyone was there in the hotels. And there was one particular hotel where the cast of the crews were there, the musicians, everyone was there at the pub afterwards having good time. So you had to, how a show goes. You play your show.
Yep.
You say, "Hey man, good to see you."
Right.
"Fuck yeah, how you been?" And then boom. I mean, you're on tour.
Yep.
This had it had days to connect with people, and then the subtlety, the obvious subtlety, and the subconscious power of it all was everyone was there to love Sabbath and Ozzy. Undeniably, no matter what band you were in or whatever hat you have a potential to wear, everyone wore a kind and loving hat. And so everyone, and it was I've never felt anything like it ever. ever. So like, and everyone got along, and there was that. I don't want to ever hex anything. So before there were some rehearsals, and then there was a dress rehearsal on the stage with everyone getting their shit together with the 1 million bands, including my supergroup one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I watched that. This is 2 days later. It's gonna be the real show, and I watched that, and I didn't say one word about it, but I can say it now. And I was like, this is gnarly. The moving parts of it, and the poor monitor guy with everyone whinging about their ears. And I was like, and I was just watching. I was like, this is fucking gnarly. But all the musicians were being cool, the crews were being cool, so that was very important, part of the equation. But I was like, okay, if this works, it will be a miracle.
Yeah.
And it not only worked, it was seamless. So and the reason I bring that up, because there was some force of belief and love, celebration. There's lots. It's hard to put in words, man.
Yeah, and purpose.
And in the whole, you could feel it.
Yeah,
and it was all, and I was like, okay, and it wanted to work that day. Rudy killer.
Rudy Sarzo came on with us a couple weeks ago and said that when we do festivals, there's always like, we're going to destroy this place, like it's going to be our band against all the other bands on the bill. And he said it was the first time that I ever was a part of an event where everyone was coming to give to somebody else. That's just like, we're all here because of Ozzy. We're all here for,
and to be one rather than like a competition. Like if you're playing a festival with other bands, you're like, we're getting out there, we're doing our best thing. But this was all together, celebrating Black Sabbath, celebrating Ozzy Osbourne. So that's a whole different thing as well.
And when you think about Ozzy and about people who love Ozzy, there's nobody in my mind who stands out more than Whit. When he was bringing up those interviews where he'd go like, Ozzy rules.
I love that.
Ozzy rules. I'm like, I remember watching that. I remember seeing that when I was growing up. I remember seeing Whit doing that. And then over the years, just learning like people would almost talk about Whit like in a fascinating, like, that guy's like Ozzy and Lemmy like just adopted him. Like they just let him in like he's like their kid, their extra kid so when that show was happening and I saw Whit's name on it, I was like, oh, that's Whitfield's day, man. That Whitfield's gonna like.
It meant so much to me to have an opportunity to contribute.
Watching the time go and feeling belief grow, rise above the obstacles. People besiege me, but they'll never teach me things that I already know.
At the end of the night, do you try to carve out a moment to just say something to him to be like, no, just glad to be there? And
well, I mean, the way I looked at it was show up, do your due diligence, give it all you got, be helpful if you can be helpful in whatever other way. It could be anything. And then I knew I felt that he was drained. Yeah. And I didn't want to drain him anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the last conversation you had with him?
He texted me 7 days before he left, and then I gave him a retort to that text, and then he texted me 5 days before he left.
Where were you when you got the news that he had passed?
I was in Nottingham, England, day off with the crew.
So you were on tour.
Yeah.
And did you not want to believe it at first?
No, I just spaced out and was like, really?
Right.
I was like, okay. And I was quiet. And I looked at everybody ordering food, and I'm leaving. And here's my credit card. Get whatever you guys want. I'm going to go space out. And everyone was like, wow, are you okay? I'm like, I think I'll be all right. I don't think I even said anything. I just walked off, like dazed. Yeah.
I remember texting you. It was just after the show had happened. And you said, I need time to process this. Yeah. And that was just from the show.
Right.
And then the news hits and I go, oh my God. I mean, I don't even God, I thought of you.
Yeah.
I thought about how much you love the man.
Well, it's a heavy metal fairy tale. Like the fact that he was able to garner the fortitude and the passion to even get up there and do that. And then
in the physical condition he was in.
It's just beautiful, impressive. So it's not sad. We're all going to go. And he, I mean, if there's any guy that is inspirational to me, it is Ozzy Osbourne. Because we all feel small and we all, did dig our own graves at periods in our lives. And, you know, and then we all would like to get back to what we're doing right now, you know, and he was able to do that over and over and over again and transcend a lot of challenges. So I always thought if he can do that, maybe I could, maybe so.
Right.
So he was always, and he was funny.
Yeah.
And he was, you know, an outlier in so many ways. And I was like, I like that guy. And he really was that guy. Like he really was that guy, you know?
There was something so normal about him. Yeah. So absolutely normal about him, the way he carried himself. Did you have moments when you would learn things about him on a personal level where you go, wow, this is cool. Actually, I learned something about Ozzy nobody knows. You know?
Lots of things.
Yeah. And were there moments when you get to see behind the veil and go like,
he's that dude.
Yeah.
There's some people I've met where I'm like, oh, they're not really the dude. You know?
Oh, yeah.
You've met him, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the world.
Yeah.
And that could be in an entertainment universe, or that could just be your friend that lives 2 blocks down from you that you found out is like, you know, kicks dogs or whatever he does.
Yes.
You don't know.
Yes.
But like in all my interactions with, you know, Ozzy and that family, he's the real deal. Has been, will be.
Were there any stories that that really stood out to you of like in your alone time with Ozzy that just like our favorite memories of yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Any that you'd want to share with the world?
Anything that's like, I mean, we all look at Ozzy as like this rock god, but there's like a human moment where you're just like, this dude is just like all of us.
Those are some of the funniest.
Yeah.
By the way, when you get to witness something that you go like, man. So like Eddie Van Halen, like before I lived with Eddie Van Halen, there was that story, and I've told it a million times, that when he first met me, he knew about me from the Howard Stern show, and he goes, dude, I know everything about you. He goes, I know that, he goes, I heard that.
It's great, ain't it?
And I had a story that I had told on the Howard Stern show where I said, I've been broke my whole life. And once I started making money, all I ever wanted to own was an illegal cable box. That's all I ever wanted. I just want a legal cable box that unscrambles all the channels.
Right.
And then I finally started making money, and I was like, oh my God, it's $300. You send $300 to a P.O. box. You don't even know where you're sending your money. And I sent like a money order to a P.O. box. And then about a month later, I got a box in the mail. I hooked it up. Oh my God. And at the bowling alley, the first night that I'm hanging out with Eddie Van Halen, he goes, dude, I heard that you always want a legal cable box. Is that true? And I go, yeah. And he goes, that's crazy. Because he looked both ways and he went, I got a legal cable box too. And I go, you have an illegal cable box? And he goes, yeah. The thing is, I'm fucking rich, but don't want to pay for cable. And I was like, what the fuck? Really? Like, it was one of the most surreal experiences to see such a human side of him.
Same with me with Rob Halford from Judas Priest. We were on tour with those guys overseas, and we go to this festival one day.
Right.
And Rob's just sitting in catering. I walk in, and he's got a piece of paper in front of him, like circling some stuff. I'm like, hey, Rob, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just circling bands that I want to check out today. I'm like, man, Rob Halford has been in metal for how long and is still actively excited, like myself. I get the same way, bopping around every single stage. Jason used to always say, oh, where's Chris Cale today? Oh, it's 11:30. He must be out in the parking lot watching Corpse Christ right now.
Right, right.
And here was Rob Halford.
Oh, yeah.
We were opening up for him, and he's still just as excited about rock and heavy metal and bouncing around, checking out with that same childlike enthusiasm that I have, just watching metal. I was like, this dude.
Does it take you a while to, like when you did that tour with Ozzy and with Motorhead, does it take a while to get past that? Like
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't assume that out of you. You seem very like the energy would just be naturally in there and in there.
20.
Well, I might have been like, wow, but I wanted to sit in Ozzy's shadow.
Absolutely.
Like he couldn't shake me. I was all, you're rad. But so sure.
He goes, Ozzy rules, man. Ozzy rules.
You know what I mean? Like, sure, I was like, oh my God, but like, that's not going to stop me from being like, hey, man.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, what a trip. I would, without my singer disguise, I would have just stood in a 2-hour line to get an autograph.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And by the way, just to clarify, I just want to make sure I'm understanding you. This was your first major tour was Ozzy and Motorhead. It's both this guy.
It was so rad.
Oh my God. And you're 24.
1992, I would imagine.
What album cycle was that for Ozzy?
The No More Tours tour.
I saw you guys
Yeah.
at Louisville Gardens Did your bass player break his leg during that same tour, or was that a different one?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, but
I don't think anyone.
It's
broke
all
their leg.
coming. I think that's the same time that I met Ozzy Osbourne on the No
Really?
More Tours tour. You guys were opening up for them in Louisville Gardens. And Ozzy sat down with me after the show. I was like just a radio guy back then, working college radio for a heavy metal show.
Yeah.
And Ozzy sat there and talked to me and my friend Will for a good 20 minutes about how much he just hated doing videos. He's like, you sit in the trailer all day or this and that. And then you go out there for 2 minutes and then you go back. He's like, I hate fucking doing videos. But that was the same tour. So I got to see you guys open up on that tour as well. It's all coming full circle for me. Yeah.
You know what? Before we let you go, I feel like you could be of use to anybody in the world who travels because
Absolutely.
you travel and you are constantly figuring out how to live as a citizen of planet Earth.
Right.
I feel like, I feel like I remember Whit saying something about, man, I got drunk and fell down some
13 stairs. Right.
medieval,
Yeah, I did that.
medieval stairs or something.
Yeah.
like
No,
that?
13 stairs. No, I did that in Brighton. Like within 2 years, it was gnarly.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really happy that I'm walking. I'm happy I'm walking.
But it was a medieval, like,
It was an old school Brighton. However that was built. I can show you a picture of it. It's fucking gnarly.
okay.
And it's
We'll incorporate it. We can get the picture from you and we'll incorporate it. So
Yeah.
that we'll run it here. If you
Well,
send
anyway,
the
so yeah, I
picture.
fell down 13 stairs and ended up at the NHS, and I thought I broke my neck.
Whoa.
But I didn't. But then again, and then they're like, "We think you broke your back." And I went through the giant donut, the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I did all the
The
things.
MRI.
And I sat in the NHS, which is, what a rad price. My favorite 4-letter word, free.
Yeah.
And I was in there, and so sure, I was like, "Fuck, did I break my neck?" And they said no. And I'm like, "Cool, can I go?" And they're like, I was fucked up. And the little guy goes, "We think you broke your back." He had a little green mask on, and he said, "We think you broke your back." And I'm like, "Fuck." So I did break my back. I broke the L3 and L6,
Oh
but
my
oddly,
God.
and I sat there in the NHS for like 8 hours with no blanket. No one got blankets, nothing. But the thing about it is, that it's in Brighton.
What is NHS, by the way?
It's like the hospital.
Okay.
So
Probably National Health Services, probably.
yeah, and so I watched. So hooray for me, and I'm really grateful that I can walk in the whole thing. And that's a different part of the story. But I really watched the nurses, male and female, with different hues of colors, kind of like monks almost, and how helpful they were for all these people writhing in pain, in fear. It was symphonic in. What behind closed doors. You will go into a bar, there's some drinks, right? You go to the heavy metal show, there's the band.
Yeah.
You go to the NHS and there's a bunch of fucking people living the same, thing I was living. But my L3, I finally was like, I was gonna escape. I wanted to get a sandwich. and I was so hungry, man. And she's like, the doctor, she's like, "You William Crane?" I go, "Yeah, what's up?" And I go, "Can I go?" And she's like, "I think you can." I go, "Well, what's the deal? Did I break my back?" She's like, "You did." And I go, "And?" She goes, "You are you're a lucky person."
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "How's that?" And she had like a Sharpie or something like a Sharpie, and she drew it on a little bag, and she was a very bad cartoonist, but she did her best. And she drew my spine, and the L3 and L6 was down here,
Yeah.
and the fractures were this way and this way. And I was so annoyed. When you do something really stupid and you can't take it back?
Yeah.
That. But this was at a macro scale. And I
Yeah.
knew how close it was to some really bad ends. But equally, I was like, fuck, did I ruin my band? Did I, now I can't go tour. Do I have to go? It's your back's broken under the knife for sure, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, "You have fractures that go this way off your spine. So you'll heal in about 6 weeks." And I'm like, "I'm all really?" And she's like, "Yeah, for real." And I go, and she goes, "You're a very lucky boy." And I go, "Thanks a lot. Can I get a sandwich?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Wow.
Do you remember what the sandwich was that you had?
It's a shitty Subway sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably turkey. With and the big weird drink and like the chips, and you sit there alone,
Yeah.
happy to be alone.
Oh, yeah.
And you inhale it.
The baked Lay's,
Yeah.
just no flavor,
Yeah.
but just feeling all the flavors of life in that moment because you're that
I
lucky.
needed food, bro.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to ask you what are some key ways to save on traveling around the world if you want to be
No mortgage, no wife.
no mortgage, no wife? That's
That's
a great.
it.
Here we go. High five.
No, that's the answer.
You're talking to the guy who lives in hotels. He
Yeah.
has no
That's
real
true.
residence. I
Same
love it.
thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I have an accountant. I have a passport. I have no felony records.
Yeah.
And I can make it work.
And you usually Airbnb it.
It's caught up with me now in a good way. So 30 years ago when I started this thing, and sometimes I'll get a girlfriend and go, "You do the thing you're supposed to do."
Right.
And then I will not do that. And I've met great people, and I'm happy I've done those journeys, but I'm also happy I'm not on those journeys.
Right.
And sooner or later, I have a vision of what I'll do in the end, but like, pick change before it picks you.
And what is the vision that you have for the end?
Mediterranean Sea.
Really? Why Mediterranean Sea? Did you, by the way, did you go to the Mediterranean Sea and go, oh, this is where I want it?
Yeah,
Felt
for
that
sure.
vibe?
You knew that.
Well, the United States is a very young country.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I'm grateful that I'm from California, and I, hooray for all of it.
Yeah.
People with curly hair probably want straight hair,
Sure.
and so on and on it goes.
Bald, but long hair.
People, so like, all my Italian friends, all they're all, you're from California. Like I said before, California, I'm the exchange student.
Yeah.
And I'm all, but Italy's rad. And they're like, they want to go to, they want Cal. So for me, in ancient cultures, like someplace like Spain or Greece, Portugal, Italy, France, and a lot of those cultures have really challenged economies, but the people aren't challenged. They're symphonically inside life. And like, the United States, we understandably are trying to eat healthier, do these strange life yoga positions to try to love ourselves a little more with what we put in our body, how we treat ourselves. The Mediterranean, if you just stood there and responded or reflected or mirrored what it is, which you would anyway, you're going to win. You'll drop weight, you're stoked, everyone's, there's ashtrays everywhere.
The Mediterranean diet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so grateful to know you, man. I really am. I mean, every time I see you, and when I introduce you to people, you put a smile on everybody's face, and I just enjoy hanging out with you. I like watching you perform. Well, we're going to watch you to perform tonight. You're performing on Fremont Street. I'm excited to watch you in front of that massive nutty crowd that shows up for those shows. And then I've been watching like online. I see like videos get posted of all the gigs you guys have been doing across Europe. It seems like you're always performing in Europe.
Yeah.
And where do you want people to go to find out more information about shows?
The interweb.
All right. Look up Ugly Kid Joe.
I knew that was coming.
And we also, just so you know, to anybody who's interested, we have a whole album in the can, and it's going to be killer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
I love Rad Wings of Destiny as a name. It's just like,
That's cool.
Yeah, it was like everything. I always hear Whit say, yeah, fucking rad, or what's the opposite? It was
Bunk.
bunk, rad,
Don't
or
be
bunk.
Bunk is actually a vocabulary word from the 20s, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, yeah. Okay, and then this will be the final thing I say, just so the people, if anybody actually listened and wondered what happened in India, I purchased Lemmy Kilmister, a 250-year-old dagger, silver dagger, brought it back in my backpack. I went from India to Australia to England to France with a backpack, never checked in, and no one ever took this dagger. From Heathrow back to Santa Barbara, band's broken up, and I call up Lem, and I got something for you, brother, and he goes, come on then, and I went to his apartment, and it was in a like a paper with a twine on it, like it's a dagger.
Yeah,
it's a dope dagger, like a dagger. Wow. And I cruised in, and there was Lemmy in his Speedo, and he's like, hello, and I said, what's up, bro? And I got on my knees and went like this. And,
the presentation.
And he goes like this. He sat there. He's puzzled. He's like, okay, because we're bros.
Yeah.
He sat down and undid the twine, and he opened it up, and he was all. It lives somewhere, and he was all. Shh, shh. It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, like just beautiful art. Shh. Some history. Who knows? Shh. And he goes, "This is the nicest thing anyone's ever got me." Which is pretty cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that his apartment on Doheny? That was
wherever that was, right by the
right by the rainbow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing, man. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you again tonight.
Cool. I'm here for a couple days. Let's get weird.
And all right, cool. There's some actually, you know what? There's some great food here that we'd love to turn you on to.
Absolutely.
And Whitfield Crane, one of the most likable human beings you'll ever meet. Go see him on the road. Go see Ugly Kid Joe. Check out the new album that's going to be coming out soon. And thank you for joining us, dude. We're going to need a couple more of these appearances to get to it because there's so many mental
I'm
notes.
so pleased that we did it this way and not what's the way you guys do it. What's that called?
Zoom.
Nobody wants to be on Zoom.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't want to be on Zoom. This is it. I like this.
Yeah. When I saw that you were coming in, I was like, dude. Yeah, I mean, dude,
face to face.
Chris is in the middle of a short tour. He flew in to be able to make this happen.
Yeah.
I flew back a day early to make this happen. I was like, we got to get Whit in the studio. Whit has the greatest stories. He's the greatest human. We gotta dig in with Whit and just let him talk.
And I love this, like with your energy too. We're talking about the energies, just being in the room together, face to face,
right?
hanging out, no technology. I mean, we're recording and whatnot, but the vibe in the room versus, I was a little apprehensive. I was like, dude, I got to get on a Spirit flight tonight at 10:45.
Oh, yeah.
I'm flying to Detroit. I got to drive 3 hours to the show tomorrow. I am so grateful I came in and had the one-on-one personal experience. I've got the energy now to fly through the air tonight and tomorrow. I'm just super excited to take this full energy into the last show of the year for Death Punch for us tomorrow in Michigan.
You reminded me of something. I got to as the more I talk to you, the more I go, oh, I got to ask about this. I got to ask about this. Very serious. Deadpan. Wait, look me right in the eye and he goes, Craig, you know the difference between jelly and jam? And I go,
hey, what's the deal? What's the difference? Hey, Craig, come here. Hey, bro. What's up? How are you? All right? Okay, cool. Do you know? Because you should know, of all people, do you know? And if you don't know, admit it. And if,
it's okay to
it's
to
not
know.
It's not like a flaw, but like, do you know the difference between jelly and jam?
And it really took me is this a riddle? I don't understand what
But
the
let's
answer.
leave it there.
Okay.
And
by the way, if you know the answer to this one, it goes further. And over the next couple of years, I would get messages.
Turns into jingles.
It turns into jingles.
Yeah,
You
that's right.
Jelly and jam. Jelly and jam.
What's the difference now?
Jelly and jam.
Jelly and jam. What's the difference now? Jelly and jam. Jelly and jam.
Part 2 of Whitfield is coming soon. It's the mystery to jelly and jam.
The new theme song for Beardo and Weirdo, Jelly and Jam.
I'm going to tell you as soon as we wrap here, and you're going to love the answer. Jelly and jam. What's the difference? Thank you, Whit.
Well, happy days, guys.
I love you, man.